श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराज की जय। राधा कृष्ण देव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। गुरु हरि प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जय। गुरु हरि महंत स्वामी महाराज की जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। आबू धाबी मंदिर महोत्सव की जय। आज हम सब प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जन्म जयंती मना रहे हैं। वी आर सेलिब्रेटिंग द बर्थ एनिवर्सरी ऑफ आवर गुरु प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज, and it is but usual that everyone celebrates the birth of someone that they love. And it is customary for Hindus to celebrate the birth of their guru. But have you ever thought, कभी आपने सोचा है कि हम जन्मदिवस क्यों मना रहे हैं? Why do we celebrate birthdays anyway? Because nobody really remembers the day or time of their birth. Do you recall when you were born or the day you were born? Can any one of us really remember the environment or even the place where we were born? The most important day of our life, our birthday, we do not remember the time, the moment, or the atmosphere. And yet we choose to celebrate that. In actual fact, the first 3 years of our life, nobody really remembers. Despite the fact they are the years where our sensory perceptions are at their peak. Our brain is constantly absorbing the stimuli from all around, whether they are sensory, they are visual, they are expressions, they are smells, whatever. We are constantly absorbing all the information that comes within us in the first 3 years. And yet, we hardly remember those first 3 years even as part of our memories. But we still choose to celebrate our birthday because we came on this earth. One of the reasons may be that when you are born, the child is so innocent and the child is so selfless and the child or baby is so desireless that the innocence, selflessness and desirelessness generates joy in everyone around us. Everyone who held us smiled with joy. Not just our parents, but our own, a simple person's birth generates joy in the hearts of everyone around them. Then just imagine the birth of a divine incarnation, the birth of a spiritual saint, the birth of someone who can bring change to this earth. Imagine the joy, imagine the beauty or the purpose that birth generates. One of the reasons is that despite the fact we were selfless, innocent and desireless as a child, as we grow, जब हम बड़े हो जाते हैं, then selfishness comes into our heart. Desires, संकल्प विकल्प हमारे मन में उठते हैं और जो हमारी निर्दोषता है, innocence, we lose that. And that's one of the reasons that as we grow old, we keep celebrating our birthdays and not anyone else. The difference between us and the Guru is that as we grow old, we lose the selflessness, innocence, and desirelessness of a child. But the spiritual Guru, even till the end of his life, he remains as innocent, as selfless, and as desireless as a child. His purpose on this earth is not himself but others. That is one of the main reasons that we as Shishyas and followers, we would love to celebrate the birth anniversary of our Guru. Because he was selfless, innocent, and completely desireless. I want to emphasize that how desireless or innocent Pramukh Swami Maharaj was. How selfless he was. That I remember in 1985, just when we were celebrating the Cultural Festival of India in England, and in Alexandra Palace grounds, there was a small porter cabin. It was a very simple, Spartan porter cabin, austere and simple. And Pramukh Swami would have his normal morning breakfast in that simple porter cabin. And all of us who were allowed would go down and sit inside while he was having breakfast. One morning, I entered with a book in my hand. Very curiously, Pramukh Swami ने मेरी हाथों में जो किताब थी उनके सामने देखा और हमको पूछा कि ये कौन सी पुस्तक है. तो मैंने स्वामी को बताया कि स्वामी जी मैंने अभी तक पढ़ी नहीं है, मगर किसी ने हमने ये पुस्तक दी है. That book was an autobiography of Lee Iacocca. Lee Iacocca was a man who was leading Ford company, the car company. And he had taken it to amazing success. But because Ford was a company that was owned by a family, somehow, I don't know what went wrong, overnight he was fired by the bosses. It hurt him so deeply. He left Ford, but he joined a competitive company, Chrysler. The Chrysler car company was down in the dumps, making loss after loss, and it was about to completely erase itself from existence. फिर भी उन्होंने जाकर वो क्राइस्लर कंपनी में ज्वाइन हुआ. और ऐसी बात ये पुस्तक में बताई गई है कि once he took over, he created an environment of collective sacrifice. He decided he will take no more than $1 until he could turn around the entire company from losses into profits. He started putting in more energy, more work, his ideas, his charismatic personality, generated an environment of so much energy. Then, in just a matter of couple of months and a year, the Chrysler company started making profit after profit, and it rose to the highest ranks. The book was a self-autobiography of Lee Iacocca, and people were tipping him to run for the President of America. And interestingly, normally if anything sells really fast, it is said that it sells like hotcakes, because the highest selling item would be hotcakes. But hotcake people who were selling, they started putting ads saying, our hotcakes sell like Lee Iacocca's book. This was how popular he had become. So that book was in my hand, and I was sitting in front of Pramukh Swami. And then when I told him this story in a gist, बड़े innocence से प्रमुख स्वामी ने हमको पूछा. उसके प्रश्न में it was full of selflessness, innocence and desirelessness. उन्होंने क्या पूछा? He asked me, who has written this book? तो मैंने बताया कि स्वामी जी, ये तो खुद ली आयाकोका ने किताब लिखी है. The next question he asked, because this was an autobiography, so the next question he asked, that does one write good things about oneself? Is it correct to self-praise? उन्होंने पूछा कि आदमी अपने गुणों का गान कर सकता है? Is anybody able to sing his own praises? In that question lay the innocence of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. मैंने बताया कि स्वामी पूरी दुनिया खुद अपनी बातों में ही लगी है. Everybody is continually singing their own praises. They are blowing their own trumpets. It is only the Satpurush, a pure saint, who is so innocent that he is completely unaware about his own virtues. and has never sung his own praises. And that's what I want to emphasize today, that he who has never praised himself, people sing his praises forever. When we keep singing our own glories and our own praises, nobody is willing to sing our praises. प्रमुख स्वामी के गुणगान सब कोई आज भी करते हैं, क्योंकि कभी भी स्वप्न में भी उन्होंने अपना गुणों की बात कभी नहीं की है. He has never self-praised or never raised his own image. He was always humble. Beyond selfishness, he was selfless. पर कितने तक, why would people celebrate his birthday? Because he never considered his birthday important at all. The person who never celebrates his birthday, the world celebrates their birthday. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज अपनी खुद की बर्थडे के लिए क्या बताते थे? I remember in Mumbai 2010, it was 12th December, just the eve of his birthday. It was evening time, and we were not going to have a big celebration because Swami's health was not that good as well. So as I was sitting with him in the evening time, we were having a small meeting. The doctors came to check Swami Shri, and after the routine check, we decided that we should close the meeting and not do it today. So मैंने प्रमुख स्वामी को बताया कि स्वामी जी, let's conclude the meeting. Swami looked at me puzzled. He said, why? I said, Swami ji, what we are doing today, हम कल करेंगे. So let's keep everything else for tomorrow. Then Pramukh Swami asked me that why? क्यों? तो मैंने very what do you call gently I reminded Pramukh Swami Maharaj કે સ્વામી કાલનો દિવસ સરસ છે. Tomorrow is really special. So Pramukh Swami asked, why is it so special? I said, Swami, tomorrow is your Janma Divas, birthday. Then Pramukh Swami said something which is almost timeless. He said, tomorrow is special, today is not, and day after tomorrow is not. He said, for me, even yesterday was special, today is special, tomorrow is special, and day after tomorrow is always special. 24 hours are good and special. For a guru, each day is as special as a birthday, because each day he gets to meet people and he gets to change lives and transform and also help people along the way. So he not only did he mention that it is special, but then I also asked him that, Swami, okay, please remain happy on us. Ke raji rejo. Then Swami again said that Rajipo, meaning being happy, is not just for tomorrow, it's today, it's tomorrow, it's day after tomorrow, it's forever. Two things that the Guru has taught us is he's happy on us every day, even before our birth and even long after we are no more. And the second thing he said, we can turn every day into a special day. If you can rise beyond your own selfishness and become selfless, we can rise beyond life as we see it. तो प्रमुख स्वामी ने हमको ये बात दिखाई है. आज हमने ये जन्मदिन निमित्त सब हरि भक्त, वो जो दुबई के हैं, यूएई के हैं और बहरीन के हैं, कुवैत के हैं, मस्कत के हैं, वो सब हरि भक्त ने प्रमुख स्वामी के साथ अपनी स्मृतियों हमको सुनाई. Listening to these remembrances generated so much joy that we also feel that Pramukh Swami Maharaj, just by his sheer birth on this earth, by his presence as he has filled our lives, he has given us so much joy and happiness that we can survive on that joy and happiness forever. Let me remind all the devotees today, as we remember Pramukh Swami Maharaj, that one thing our Guru has taught us, which is so special, is to have faith higher than faith. I remember in 1997 when Pramukh Swami Maharaj had come to UAE, Dubai, I was there with him. And we were sitting in Rohit Bhai's home. Pramukh Swami was having lunch in the afternoon. And I was reading before him a small survey that had come in the Time magazine. And the survey was about, do prayers work? And in short, the survey said that so many percentage of people in America, they believe that God exists. And some people say, certain percentage says that God exists, but he never listens to our prayers. Some people say, some percentage said that, yeah, God listens to our prayers, but sometimes God is hard of hearing, so he only listens to part of our prayers. Some people said, yes, I believe he listens to our prayers, but he does not really always agree with our prayers, so he does not answer our prayers. So all these things were continually done in the survey. And as this survey was spoken about before Pramukh Swami Maharaj, some devotees from Ahmedabad who were there, they asked Pramukh Swami, Swamiji, we don't know God, and we say prayers to you, but do those prayers reach God? Remember, I said he has taught us to have faith higher than faith. So Pramukh Swami, he just smiled and he said, as he was eating, he said, whatever you give me, we give directly to God. The most powerful part of this entire incident is his natural action. It's like he takes from us and he gives it directly to God. So the devotee said that, Swamiji, if you give all our applications in the form of prayers to God, then why don't they get answered? So that's when Pramukh Swami smiled and said that, everybody is free to apply. But whatever applications reach the governor, he only chooses to answer the ones he feels are befitting. So हमारी applications तो भगवान के पास जाती है prayers के रूप में, मगर भगवान को जो योग्य लगे वो ही उनका जवाब वो देते हैं. तो हरिभक्त तो अभी थे, the devotees, they insisted that, Swamiji, if our prayers are right at the bottom of the heap of all the prayers that have gone up, is there a way that we can take those prayers up right at the top? जैसे दुनिया में there are ways that, even if you applied later, by, recommendations, by even, like greasing the palm, by trying to find other ulterior motives and ways to take your application and make it more powerful. Is there a way that we can take our application and then put it right at the top so God will answer our application? That's when Pramukh Swami said, to my shock and surprise, उन्होंने बताया कि हाँ है ना. Everybody was like all ears के, so what is the way of getting our prayers and giving them higher priority in the mind of God? And straight away, Pramukh Swami said, there is a way. उन्होंने बताया कि double bhakti or double shraddha. He said, make your prayers twice as much and make your faith twice as much. उन्होंने बताया कि have prayers higher than prayers and have faith higher than faith, and then your prayers will reach God. वो यूएई में स्वामी ने बताया, and हम सब देख रहे हैं. We are the witnesses of the power of prayer that Pramukh Swami has taught us. If you remember, it was in the month of April, in the sands of Sharjah, that when Pramukh Swami was seated with all the devotees, and that's when Pramukh Swami Maharaj, very naturally in a sandstorm, he started praying. And many of us who were present there were surprised that one of his deepest prayers was that may there be peace in the region. May there be peace between religions. May there be peace between cultures and countries. May people be free of prejudice and enmity. And may every country and culture progress in their unique way. May there be harmony, and there will be a temple in Abu Dhabi. A time when it was even difficult or even impossible to think of sadhus going to Abu Dhabi. At that time, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had prayed that there will be a temple in Abu Dhabi and it will become the center, epicenter of harmony, global harmony. We are witnessing the truth of that prayer. A prayer higher than normal prayers. A prayer for things impossible and improbable. A prayer for things unimaginable. And we are all together now witnessing the amazing true story through the help and the generosity of His Highness, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and also the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, and the help of everybody around, from the royal family to the government and the people and the locals and the entire Indian community. We are seeing that prayer being fulfilled. So our Guru has taught us, number one, have faith higher than faith. Have prayers higher than prayers. The second thing our Guru has taught us, which we will remember in this part of the world, is when he was in Bahrain. We have already heard the incident, but he has taught us, have love greater than love. His love was not limited to himself and his own people. His love was universal. When His Highness King Isa invited Pramukh Swami Maharaj to his palace, and Pramukh Swami Maharaj entered with the Murti of Hari Krishna Maharaj, the form of blessings that have blessed the entire universe, and the sheer love of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the innocence, the desirelessness. Pramukh Swami Maharaj's selflessness touched King Isa so deeply that he said that, where do you live? Pramukh Swami Maharaj smiled that we move around the whole world, but we do not have a home. A sadhu is best as he keeps moving. That's when King Isa said, then make Bahrain your home. I believe that to make Bahrain your home was an invitation that was inspired by the selflessness of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. The love that the royal family felt in that palace was unforgettable. Even after maybe almost 22 years, one of the attendants present there, His Excellency Mansur al-Rajab, he went on to become a minister in Bahrain. But after almost 2 decades, he remembered Pramukh Swami and he said that he keeps coming into my dream. His innocence, his selflessness, his spirituality, he keeps coming into my dreams and inspiring me. So he came on Guru Purnima to Bochasan to seek Pramukh Swami's blessings. So I want to tell you, when you have love higher than love, it just generates so much energy which we have experienced in Bahrain. Dr. Faisal Jira, he often said that if I wanted to summarize Pramukh Swami Maharaj, his birth was perhaps the greatest thing that has happened on this earth. It redefined the meaning of love. Love greater than love, where you have a heart wherein the whole world can live. And just as he was so comfortable and he exuded love in the palace of the king, it was because of sheer love of a new Haribhakta like Jasbir Singh. He was a complete new entrant at that time. Nobody really knew him. And yet Pramukh Swami Maharaj left one of the biggest welcoming assemblies early, and he went on to bless the house of Jasbir Singh. That love of a simple single devotee and the love of the royal family, for Pramukh Swami Maharaj, everything was equal, for he had a heart wherein the whole world could live. So we've experienced love greater than love. But more importantly, there is something else that Pramukh Swami, our Guru, has taught us. He has taught us that there is a presence deeper than our existence. So faith higher than faith, love greater than love, and a presence deeper than our existence. Just as our life keep rotating or keeps orbiting around our own existence, Pramukh Swami Maharaj taught us that there is a presence deeper than our existence, and that is the presence of divinity, of God, of our own Guru. Never for once did he allow, not us, not even in his deepest of dreams, did he allow himself to overlook or forget the presence of God and his Gurus. Everything that happened around him, he said, it is because of God and our Gurus. I still remember that in Kuwait, in the night skies of Kuwait, he showed us not just the stars, but he also explained the glory of God and his Gurus. So every time I look at the skies, I always remember the skies of Kuwait and all the love of the devotees, that there is an existence deeper than our own existence. I remember when he was doing the Murti Pratishta of the Murtis of Muscat, the Murtis which are so lovingly taken care of by Kantibai and all the devotees in Muscat. I remember the way he infused the presence of divinity in the Murtis. So he has taught us that the Murtis, the Mandirs, the puja that we do, the niyams that we follow, the devotion that we do, that gives us a presence higher than our own existence. So Pramukh Swami Maharaj has taught us, he has given us a new meaning in life. That is why we celebrate the birth of our Guru. We all know of the Mahabharata. And in the Mahabharata, at the beginning, when Dronacharya, the master archer, the Guru of all the weaponry, he's teaching both Kauravas and Pandavas. And one of the stories is as such, that after their practicing of, archery, Dronacharya at Sandhya time, evening time, he goes to worship the sunset. And as he stands in the middle of a river, when the Guru lays down his weapons, all the Shishyas are supposed to lay down all their weapons. When the Guru is weaponless, no Shishya can carry a weapon. So as he is about to perform the mantras and the worship at evening time of the sun god, in the river there is a ripple. And there are 3 alligators coming straight towards Dronacharya. Everybody's eyes are supposed to be closed, but at a blink of an eye, Arjuna sees these 3 alligators coming to Dronacharya. Before his eye could complete a blink, Arjun picks up his bow and arrow, and in a fraction of seconds, he fires 3 arrows, and all the 3 crocodiles are pierced and they die. Dronacharya opens his eyes and he says and sees who has done this. And he sees it's Arjuna. And that's why amongst his prayer, he says a prayer to God that there shall be no greater archer than Arjun. All the young Kauravas and Pandavas, they're amazed. And everybody starts singing the glory of Arjun. And Arjun is also bloated with, you cannot say, but praise. He feels so good, feels so great. But as they are practicing with these arrows and bows and everything, and they're going away into the forest, as they go deeper and deeper into the forest, and suddenly they hear the Pandavas, there's a dog, and the dog is barking, and they are following that dog. Suddenly the dog stops barking. And they see that in the middle of a forest, there is a simple tribal boy, not educated, not literate. He has no guru to teach him. But there is a single tribal boy. And you know what happens? That when the dog appears before him, the tribal boy, he takes his bows and arrows and he fires multiple arrows into the mouth of the dog. Arjun and the Pandavas are completely amazed. How can one, and who can, fire arrows in such a way that they would completely arrange themselves into the mouth of a barking dog without piercing him or without creating a single drop of blood? So fine was this archery. So they go deeper into the forest, and when they look at this simple tribal boy, and They watch with complete surprise and shock that little boy, in one go, he fires multiple arrows in different directions. One arrow goes and picks out a lotus from the pond. One arrow pierces a bird. One arrow whizzes around and gets some other flowers and fruits. And one arrow takes everything and places them before a small clay murti of Dronacharya. And to that, Arjun thinks that I can never do this. And then he feels that Dronacharya had lied to him. So he runs back to Dronacharya and says that you are my guru, but you have lied. Dronacharya is surprised, but why do you say that I have lied? He said, you had told me that I would be the greatest archer in the world. And Dronacharya said, you are. He said, no, there is this boy, he's far superior to me. An archer greater than my archery. And who is that boy? That is Eklavya. And Dronacharya is surprised that he had never met Eklavya, he had never taught Eklavya the skill, the art of archery. But by sheer faith in a murti that Eklavya created of Dronacharya, his faith in that clay murti, seeing it as his own guru, generated so much energy that it gave him a new birth. Imagine a person who has never met a guru, but by sheer faith, sheer remembrance, he could have the skill, the quality, the virtue of the guru. That is the power of a guru. When you believe in the guru, when you celebrate the guru, when you celebrate every moment, when you remember him every time, not just the birth of a guru, but even the memory of the guru has the power to give you a new birth. Today, when we celebrate the birth of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, we in a way are celebrating our new birth. Every time we remember him, we are re-energized. If you remember, in 2016, when we were paying a tribute to His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj after he passed away, in the tribute assembly in Bahrain, I remember in that assembly, to everybody's surprise, Dr. Mustafa Al-Sayyed. And he came down and everybody was surprised that why is he here? In a host of dignitaries who were present, he came and spoke, and the gist of his speech was that all of you may be surprised to know or see why I am here. But I am here to tell you that in 1997, when I came and met His Holiness, he gave me an advice which has helped me throughout my life. He had told me that while you are in the corridor of powers, don't forget the small people. At the end of the day, it will be them who will continue to support you. So he said that has helped me. Sometimes when you are at the top of your success, when everything is going right, we tend to forget or blur out the people who really mean something to us. But when you don't forget the smaller people, they will continue to love you and give meaning to your life. He said, that has helped me throughout the life. That's why I've come to pay my tribute to a person who has continually helped me, whose memory and remembrance has helped me. So I want to tell you that there are leaders who may lead by their presence. And there are leaders who may lead even in their absence. But Pramukh Swami Maharaj was a leader, is a leader who leads even by his remembrance. When we remember him, we suddenly get new energy, new life, a new birth. So today as we celebrate उनकी जो जन्म जयंती हम मना रहे हैं और उत्सव हम मना रहे हैं, तो it is like celebrating a rebirth of our own selves. Let us take a resolution that whatever bhakti that we are doing, let us have faith higher than faith. Let us say prayers higher than prayers. Let us have hope higher than hope. Let us have love greater than love. And let us remember him in a special way, because his presence is deeper than our existence. My prayers for all the devotees, not just in the Middle East, but far in the corners of the world, wherever they are, as they remember Pramukh Swami, may his remembrance give us new energy and new life. Jai Swami.